What's going on, people? Episode 6 of Healing with Sam. Hope everyone's good. Hope everyone is feeling well. Hope everyone is enjoying the ride. So today's episode, we're going to carry on from last week, where in the present, I'm probably going into hospital maybe next week for IV antibiotics for the first time in 9 years. Still just a little bit like, am I relaxed? It just doesn't really seem like reality. It also just really doesn't work for me right now. There's a lot of things going on, different moving parts. I'm looking to move into a house. It's just, it doesn't really work, but I've already kind of kicked it down the road a few weeks, and I'm mindful of continuing to do that, continuing this pattern of just neglecting the physical reality. I need a pit stop. I need some IV antibiotics to give this Pseudomonas on my lungs a good kick in. I've let it eat away at me for a good while. My lung function has dropped to less than 50%. Get in there, innit? So yeah, I just want to speak to how I've got to that point over the last 4 years of neglecting taking my meds. Why have I done that? Why have I let myself drop like this? Why have I fucked my body up again? Maybe there's some lessons within all that, mostly for me. So that all started about 4 years ago, obviously initially with that sort of understanding, realizing, belief that I could probably just heal myself. And then just after that, I went to France. I was driving around France and Spain for a few months, so I couldn't take all the meds that I keep in the fridge usually with me because I was just in the car. And then I think maybe I did take all my other meds, but I think just traveling around, staying with different people, doing all that, I think I probably started slipping and taking all my meds. And then obviously I'm in Portugal having that experience with the angel and the knowing of healing, and the Ayurvedic doctor telling me I can heal myself and all these different things. And then a couple months after that, I went and did ayahuasca for the first time, and so stopped taking all of my meds for 2 weeks before for the dieta. And it's funny, I was going into that ayahuasca retreat looking for the answer as to how I'm going to heal, thinking I'm going to find some sort of spiritual key within the journey and it's just going to unlock healing within me. And what I actually got, the message I received was, no, take care of the physical. And obviously 4 years down the line, I haven't really listened to that. And I should have known, and certainly do know better by now than to always listen to mother. Silly boy. There we go. And it's interesting to think where I would be right now if I hadn't stopped taking all my meds for the years since. If I'd have started taking that new drug at the time that was having such an amazing effect for people, and to be fair, I did start taking it. I come back from that ayahuasca retreat and was like, okay, I will start taking this drug, because it had come out just at the time I was like, I can heal myself. I was like, I don't need it. And I'd taken part in the trial for it a couple of years before and come out in this crazy rash head to toe, and so I had to stop taking it. So I was just like, meh. But then I did come home and try taking it again, took it for 1 day and it fucked my liver up. So I was just like, that's out the window and I don't need it anyway. But it's interesting to think, where would I be 4 years down the line if I hadn't stopped taking all my meds, if I had found a way to start taking that one, plus doing everything else I've been doing within myself? Where would I be right now? Probably with better lung function, it's fair to say. But we'll never know. And I actually don't regret the journey I've taken. I think ultimately it's just part of the ride. And I've gained a lot. I've gained a lot of internal strength and power in my mind, in my belief, in my body, in obviously the emotional process, and learning all of that and integrating all of that, plus some more spiritual stuff. I don't regret where I'm at right now. I see this as just another part of the journey. This is the part where I fucked myself up again, being stupid. Now I just climb back up higher and higher and higher into healing. Whatever that's going to look like. Who knows? We will find out. Or I'm just tripping. We're going to find out together. So yeah, it all started slipping with that. And I went to Sri Lanka then a couple months later. And obviously couldn't take my meds again, all the fridge stuff, plus I couldn't take any of my meds because just luggage space and everything. So all of that around that time just started that habit of not really taking all my meds. And habit, obviously, is a big part of this. I'd been in the habit all my life up until this point of waking up, taking 15 different tablets, another 10 in the evening, 30, 40 tablets a day, digestive enzymes I got to take when I eat. I tried to calculate once how many tablets I've probably taken all my life, and this was a few years ago, and it was a very conservative estimate. And it was it must have been at least 300,000 tablets, So to be fair, I was due a little break. Yeah, I have since started taking them all again this last couple of weeks. But yeah, anyway, so all of that happened. And then there's lots of different other things within myself that are contributing to this. One, I think learning more about sort of Western science and medicine and the flaws in that, the sort of corruption that exists within that whole system. COVID, I think, probably didn't help with that. My disillusionment with that whole system, distrust in that system, and you know, and so it's easy then to just throw the baby out with the bathwater, reject it all, and just be like, I don't need all that. Like, I have it all here. And there's power in that. Like, you have to have that. Like, but yeah, also make space for the good things that do come out of that system. Of course, there is many. But yeah, I think another big thing was just my identity. I'd taken on this story of I'm healing. This is what I've come to do in this life. All these experiences I'm having, and obviously there's still much more to fill you in with over the 4 years from where we were in the story up until the present. There's still much more to share about all of that, particularly with the whole emotional journey and the emotional ancestral root of the disease. Crazy experiences I've had with all of that just really firmly rooted this belief in me that I am healing. This is the path I'm on. And so then obviously the ego, the identity structure gets wrapped up in all of that. And of course, anything that then challenges that structure, you're likely to sort of reject a little bit because you don't want to lose your sense of self, of course. Obviously you do, but the self certainly doesn't want to lose itself. So then any time my chest would start feeling worse, and whereas before, up until this point, I probably would have been like, oh, I could do with some antibiotics. I'm just like, nah, I'm good. And it would work, like within a few days, my chest would feel better just from me just being like, no, I feel good. But over that time, there has been a steady decline in my lung function, and then obviously more rapidly recently. And then I think I would just kind of ignore it, like I'd go to hospital, my lung function would be great. Also, I wasn't really going to hospital much. I was supposed to have checkups every 2 months, but I started not really going, like maybe once or twice a year. And then I'm seeing them and I'm like, oh yeah, but then I leave and I just forget about it. Obviously, there's a bit of denial in that. And there's also like my stubbornness and my arrogance wrapped up in all of that. I'm like, no, I can do it. I don't need anything. I don't need anyone. That part of me that like wants to do something big, feels like it needs to achieve something, to be loved, there's that wrapped up in there as well. And then I think a big part of it as well is just where my sole focus over the last few years has been on the emotional process, sort of just within myself generally, but also as that relates to the healing journey. I've given too much power to that necessary part of the journey. Like, we haven't got to this part of the story yet, but the emotional journeys I've been on over the last few years and going into the ancestral stuff is incredible. So I had to go into all of that. But obviously, as a part of that, I've then sort of just forgotten, neglected, denied the physical reality of where I'm at, just thinking, oh, I need to do this. This is the healing there. This is the healing there. All the while, my physical body in the present moment is suffering a little, So yeah, just the kind of denial, ignoring that, getting caught up in everything else, stubbornness, arrogance, identity, disillusionment with the system, all of these things just combining with just the habit then of just not really taking them. Smoking as well. I remember smoking weed at different points throughout those 4 years, drinking. Yeah, it's all just sort of combined into where we are now. Ready for a pit stop, ready for some IV antibiotics, ready to break that story I've been telling myself of, I don't need any of that, I'm healing, I can do it. Like, shut up. Listen to the doctors somewhat, take in their opinion at least, rather than just outright dismissing it all. So we're going into hospital. It is still a bit just like, but I am going to do it. Next week, it really just doesn't really fit next week, but yeah, I don't know. I'm going to speak to them again because I got sessions and stuff and work and everything and moving house. And lesson learned, the physical reality has to be accepted, acknowledged, integrated into that larger healing journey. But yeah, as I said, I certainly don't regret anything. It's been a beautiful journey. And yeah, this is just another part, the part where I go down, ready to come back up. And that's it. So yeah, we'll pick it up next week, maybe from the hospital bed. I probably won't film anything in the hospital, but maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I won't even be there. We'll see. At some point I'll be there, and then I guess once we go through that, I'll probably share a bit of that experience, I guess, and then we can get back to the story. Hopefully at that point my lung function would have picked up more. It has picked up a bit again, like these last couple of weeks. hopefully it'll pick up some more, and then we can get back to the story of where we were. And then, yeah, onwards from there. We'll see where it takes us. Who knows? Healing of some sorts, or I'm just tripping. We will find out together. Have a wicked one. Take it easy. I'll see you later.